Back inside Radio Row, getting set for Super Bowl 58, and now joining us, one of the better defensive players in the NFL from the Dallas Cowboys, and that, of course, is Micah Parsons. And by the way, Big Brothers, Big Sisters of America teams up with NFL Inspire Change for the big draft campaign to recruit thousands of mentors nationwide. Micah Parsons, great to see you. Appreciate you doing this. How you been?
I'm good, man. Extremely blessed. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How old's your son,
My
by the
son's
way?
5 years old.
Okay, so I don't know if you remember this. Last year, you were at a steakhouse. You're probably saying which one, in Arizona for the Super Bowl. And I was sitting at a table over from you. And it was the night Kevin Durant got traded. And I'm pretty sure my buddy goes, "Hey, Kevin Durant got traded." And you're there with your mom. It was you and then your son. And you looked over, you were like, "Wait, who just got traded?" And it was Kevin Durant. And I looked over and I saw your son. I've never seen a kid eat a steak like the way that your son did. That was impressive. And I never knew how old he was, but man, he housed that steak at that restaurant.
Man, he's a monster, man. When he's hungry and he really wants to go into something, he's not in his snack phase, man, he goes hard.
Yeah, no doubt about it. He's definitely going to play one day, right?
Yeah, man, he's dying to play. He's like, I want to play football just like you. He's already envisioned himself being a Cowboy.
Yeah, it's pretty cool what you guys have going with the Cowboys because we see Trayvon Diggs' son all the time. He's like a social media superstar these days with the interviews.
He's about to go famous. He's going to be a famous one.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So when you look back at this season, you guys were phenomenal in the regular season. It didn't go your way in the postseason up against the Packers. How do you kind of reflect on that game up against Green Bay?
I think for me, I'm all about learning. How did this happen? What mistakes did I made? How can I become a better leader? And how can I rally the guys around me to support me and my vision? And that's something you have to learn how to be a leader. You think about the greatest players. What did they do? They learned how to make the people around them better, and they helped them play to the standard that we all wanted to play in the culture. So I just think it's all about that. I think in the game of football, sometimes you lose. Sometimes the player is better than you or whatever it may be. But if you're bought in, you get unfazed. You just lock back in. You're like, this is the moment. We know our details. We know what to do. We got to communicate. We got to overly communicate and just do the details. And I think that's going to be different next year.
So when you look at the small details on why this happened, what did you kind of see from a football standpoint? Like what jumped out from you when you look back at the tape?
It's the little thing. It's the little things over a span of time that just become bigger and bigger. People want to be their own identities. People want to outgrow themselves. People always want to make the splash plays. People want to, you got to think about the Cowboys. We live on big plays. We live on a lot of momentum and things like that. So sometimes you forget. Sometimes you just got to take one step forward.
Talking to Micah Parsons right now, you'll have a new defensive coordinator this year, Mike Zimmer. What was the reaction when that news came down the other day?
It was good. I'm just happy that we finally got a DC and kind of get the media out the way because obviously Dan's departure. But super excited to meet him. I'm ready to see the scheme. I'm ready to learn, and I'm ready to be a dominant player.
Well, we all know that you're a playmaker. They could put you anywhere and you'll go make plays. What do you think, though, is the best way that you should be utilized with Mike Zimmer?
I think I should be utilized all the way to the field. I think Dan did a great job. Don't get me wrong. I don't think I don't want that to be misunderstood. I'm a top 3 finisher, 3-time All-Pro, 3 Pro Bowler under Dan Quinn. So, Dan moved me around amazingly. I just think, I just got to keep moving around, find ways to free me up, find ways to scheme me up to get one-on-ones, and also get other people going. So that way I can't just be the focus point and, just go from there.
Micah Parsons is our guest right now. What are the Commanders getting in Dan Quinn?
The Commanders is getting a real genuine dude, a genuine guy who's an amazing dude, man. I can't say anything nice enough about him. He treated me like a son. He treated me like a brother. He treated me like a friend when I needed him to. When I needed someone to just talk about life, talk about my family, my kids, that's who Dan was to me. So I think you're getting a great combination of a player's coach. I think these guys are going to buy into them and be great for him.
I won't sugarcoat it. We obviously, on a national show, we talk a lot about the Dallas Cowboys. That comes up pretty much almost every day, the conversation around the Cowboys. We had Emmitt Smith on earlier, and he's been critical of the team. And we talked about, is this group mentally tough enough to go through some of these tough times to ultimately see it through and then get to an NFC championship game, get through to a Super Bowl and win it? You being in that locker room, do you think this group has what it takes to be mentally tough enough to one day get that Lombardi?
Man, I'm going to just say all it takes is one, right? Energy's contagious. I know I'm mentally tough enough. I'm willing to do anything for my team. I'm willing to do anything for this organization to get there. I promised Dallas a Super Bowl. I will be a Super Bowl champion. That's the one thing about journeys. You don't know what day is going to be, what year is going to be. The next year's not guaranteed. The year after that's not guaranteed. But I will be in a Super Bowl, and I will. My energy will be contagious across that locker room.
You weren't the only player that had a family member speak up after that playoff loss to Green Bay. Do you fully intend to be a Cowboy for life? Is this the only team you want to play for?
This is the only team I want to play for. Before the draft, I said I wanted to be in Dallas. I wanted to be a Cowboy. I wanted to star. I wanted to bring a champions back to Dallas for that reason.
Take me through your quarterback as Micah Parsons here with us. He always gets talked about a lot. When you look at Dak as a quarterback, what are your thoughts on him as a QB?
I think he's a really good quarterback. I don't think you can find another quarterback who's as good as a leader. He's a quarterback who could expand with his legs. He's a great quarterback. He had a great year. He's an all-pro this year. And I think people underlook him sometimes. I think people don't appreciate him and value him. And he's also a really good friend.
When you take a look last night as Micah Parsons here with us, Myles Garrett wins Defensive Player of the Year. How did you react to that one?
Oh, I was perfectly fine. I thought Defensive Player of the Year should have easily been me or Miles. I mean, you look at the tape, pass rush swings, you look at who's getting double team or a triple team. But at the end of the day, I'm not a sore loser. I thought it should went to Miles, if not me. And I said that publicly. And it's just simple as that. Miles, you look at the Titans game alone, and no offense, but TJ played the Titans. Did you see two tight ends following TJ Watt? Did you see they're following him all across the line? People could say whatever they want, but at the end of the day, the film does not lie. Like his presence is way more dominant than TJ Watt, and that's just the reality of it.
So if you had to rank 5 guys in the NFL in terms of who gets to the quarterback the best, and what you guys do, how would you kind of rank them then, 1 through 5?
I think I'm probably the best pure speed pass rusher, but if you're going off defensive ends, or run and everything, you can label that. But you're talking about pure pass rusher, I would say if you look at my win rate I was the best one this year, so it would be me. And I would say Miles, and I would say Max, and I would say Nick Bosa, and then I would say
not TJ.
I mean, look at the stats. That's one thing, the stats don't lie. He was not top. I think he might have been 5th or 6th. Alex Highsmith, I think, had a better pass rush rate and a more double team rate than TJ Watt, if you really want to be statistically. This isn't my stuff. I'm not just pulling this out my ass. Look at the stats.
So the only thing I'm just going to say about this is I just know when you say something like this, what the reaction is going to be. People are going to think that you and TJ Watt have some beef and stuff like that when you get the Cowboys and the Steelers fan bases all intertwined. There's no beef with you and TJ Watt.
There's no beef at all. One thing I hate about the NFL community and NBA community, we just hate when someone else wins. When I lost to TJ, I did not go in and say I got snubbed. I just said I'm going to go to work. When I lost to Nick Bosa the year after that, I did not say I got snubbed. I just said I'm going to work. When the biggest mistake in people is that saying that someone is not deserving. Who are you to say someone's not deserving of an award of that magnitude?
It seems like, and I listen to your podcast a little bit, as Micah Parsons here with us, wrapping up with the Cowboys star on CBS Sports Radio. It is the Zach Gelb Show. It seems like you get annoyed a little bit with the coverage surrounding you and surrounding the Cowboys.
I mean, honestly, it's not even me. No one was coming at me because I didn't win an award. But if I won an award, they would have said I wasn't deserving. I didn't deserve it.
Yeah.
But I don't just look for my shoes. I look for Miles. This man's a human too. Why isn't everyone supporting this man or congratulating this man? People are shaming him, saying he wasn't good enough, or come on, as people, as humans, who are we to do that?
And everyone could have an opinion, but if you would have told me that it was you, it was Miles, even if it was TJ or Max Crosby, I can't really argue it.
Yeah, we don't appreciate, we just don't appreciate it. You'll never get as many as good rushers as you have in the league right now as the 5 that you could put me, TJ, Miles, Max, Nick, whoever. That is hard to do in this league. Think about it. There was a point where people were just dominating the league. Now we're who's going to be the guy this year?
Who do you think wins on Sunday, by the way?
Man, it's a toss-up. I think it's going to be a very close game. I think it's going to be a 3 to 6 point game.
And I think this will be very cliche, but I remember, I don't know if it's going to be this high scoring, but Super Bowl 52 between the Patriots and the Eagles, it was offensive explosion. And then ultimately at the end, Brandon Graham got to Tom Brady and forced the football out. To me, it's coming down to who makes that turnover against Brock or Pat in the fourth.
I think if you look at every year of the Super Bowl, it was an offensive game last year. I think this one's going to be more of a defensive game. I think we're going to get more of a Rams-Patriots game.
Gotcha. So low scoring.
I think it's going to be a low-scoring game.
Tell me what you're doing today with Big Brothers Big Sisters.
Yeah, I'm with Big Brothers and Big Sisters. We're trying to find 10,000 mentors, and you could go sign up right now at www.bebignow.org. We're partnering with the NFL called the Big Draft Campaign. It's huge. We need everyone's support. Man, you got to think about the mentors. I believe I'm a great mentor for my youth, and when I go back to my city, I do free camps. We got to remember, how can we change our generation? How can we change the lives that's next? You know, eventually 10 years from now, there's going to be another guy on CBS. Probably. I hope you're still here.
Hey, I'm only 29. You can't give me the axe that quickly.
Well, we just never know.
We'll mentor people.
Yeah, we'll mentor. Like,
I need like 15, 20 years left in this, Micah.
You're right. But, you know, in 10 years, there might be another Micah. Yeah. And if you remember anything, Big Wit, what did he do? He was at that Boys and Girls Club, and that kid, remember, he's like, man, you sat down and talked to me.
Yeah.
You changed my life. And when he gave his speech, I think that's what it's all about, right? We can make that impact, and you don't have to just be an NFL player to make an impact on someone's life. There was a guy named Coach Ham that made the biggest impact on my life and just always told me I would be great. I could do anything. Like, it's just the simple things in life, the simple wordings, and anyone can do it. So go to www.bebignow.org and go change someone's life.
Hey, we'll make a deal. When you retire, you could come co-host with me. I won't piss you off that much. And then when your son's a big-time superstar, we'll get him on the show, all right?
All right.
Sounds good. Micah Parsons for the Dallas Cowboys, thanks so much. It is the Zach Gelb Show on CBS Sports Radio.